And welcome to week 13 of Walk the Plank, the podcast here at Perry Athletic Department that takes a deep dive into the week that was and previews the events coming up for all of our sports here at Perry High School. We're joined, as always, by Gene Winters, my co-host. Thanks for being here, Gene.
Yeah, another regional final coming up, not just for football, but for another Perry sport. It just seems like this is a continuing theme over the last couple of years.
Right, and this is our fourth year in a row of being in the Elite Eight / regional final football game. So we take on Glenville here this Friday. We play down at Ravenna High School. And so we're joined by our head coach here. He's going to help preview the game for us and just talk about last week's game and put a wrap on the season. Coach Geswich, thanks for being here. Appreciate your time. Big win last week, obviously, against West Branch. A team that had won 10, 11 games in a row, something like that. They lost week 1 to Canfield, came in on a pretty hot streak, and we took care of business with a 21-0 shutout victory last week.
Yeah, it was good. A little dicey there at times, but every win at this stage is a good win. But that was a really good one for us.
As you're navigating through that first half, you're moving the ball, you're just not scoring. Like, how are those emotions, knowing that one score could have probably won that game, and not knowing how the second half was going to turn out?
Yeah, I mean, you just look at it and you figure out what you need to fix. So I think that first drive, I got a little greedy and made a bad play call, and that was on us as coaches. And then, a penalty here, sack there, you find yourself out of position. But the other team practices too. They don't. We're not the only ones that show up Monday through Thursday and try to get better. So Coach Cooper's team did a good job. Our defense did a really good job, gave up a couple big plays and then bounced right back. And then the second half, we kind of put it together a little bit more. So,
well, I know, and West Branch, obviously, as I mentioned, that a big win streak, and they were averaging 39.5 points a game on the year. Our defense comes in, and we end up pitching the shutout, but. Just talk a little bit about how our defense has evolved, I guess, from, all season long. We had some young guys out there. Now they're sort of seasoned veterans, but I've told several people that was one of the best defensive performances that I've seen out of a Perry team, maybe ever. It's got to be in the top couple.
I don't know about that. I can ask Pat Chanel and Mike Ryan,
right.
the local historians.
Well, you forget
about
I'm old, Coach. So I've been around for a lot of games.
Yeah. What I do know is that our defense does an amazing job.
Yeah.
When we first got here, that was something that we wanted to put an emphasis on, and not just in speech. We give the defense probably takes more time in practice altogether. Yeah. But that's the important part. It's not a job that I envy, being a high school defensive coordinator. I said this to the newspaper the other day. I think it's one of the hardest jobs in football at any level is a high school defensive coordinator. One, because most schools you have who you have. And then two, you see so much diversity in offenses from week to week. In the NFL, you don't see that. In college, you really don't see that anymore. Everyone's pretty similar, and you don't necessarily see that. So you have 1 week to get 15 through 18-year-olds ready to stop a triple option or stop a wing tee or stop a pass-happy spread, and it's really difficult to do. But the growth our guys have shown from the scrimmages through now has been amazing.
And this might be a better question for Coach Niedzwiecki, but last week I thought two guys really stood out defensively, and maybe just what they did last week and throughout the season. But Brody Krantz and Carter Crowfoot, I thought both had phenomenal games defensively for you.
Yeah, I think they definitely had big games. Trent had a big game. Our D-line as a whole had a big game. But part of that is your back end. Your back end is holding up, which buys you a little bit more time on the pass rush and the ability to do that. And I think, very similar to offense, every week it's been a different guy who's stepped up and made that big play. And our guys have done a really good job of stepping into those roles. Miles Osborne's maybe not one that shows up on the stats, but, to step in and play more corner this year and wind up being our guy at corner has been huge. And that's kind of just the expectation. When you get your chance, you compete to the best of your ability. And that's what these guys do.
And I think that was a bogus call on Miles when they were going towards the north end of the stadium. But that's just me watching from upstairs.
It's a hard one. That's a hard one to take, especially when the one with the direct line doesn't call it. But I've never been one to question officials, so
Yeah.
So we'll just
Sounds
keep it
about
as
right.
it is.
Sounds familiar.
No, I mean they're going to miss calls, but those are
Sure.
the ones that you don't want them to miss, especially when there may or may not have been extremely early contact on one of our opening drives of the game in the end zone. So,
It may have been, right?
yeah.
As you're getting ready for last week, and TJ mentioned how prolific their offense was.
Yeah.
Was there something you were able to see on film or on tape where it seemed like most of the night you were only bringing your three guys, maybe a linebacker here or there, and getting enough pressure to disrupt their quarterback?
I show up to Sunday meetings. That's all I do for defense. I run scout team and I show up. Coach Neds runs all that stuff, and he does a really, really good job with that. Their quarterback is a very efficient runner and a very effective runner. So at some point, you're kind of just wasting guys when you send the blitz. It paid off that game, and some weeks you want to send more people than you do other weeks, and he's got a good grasp on that.
And we played complementary football as well. I mean, offensively, obviously, we scored 21 points, 14 in the second half or 15 in the second half. And then we also, special teams, I thought, performed well. We got a punt down inside the, 1 or 2 yard line. That helped set up another big play for our defense. So just let's talk about that overall. Here we are in the regional final yet again. And then this Friday against Glenville, what we need to do to be competitive with the Tar Blooders?
Yeah, as far as complimentary football, I think everyone played pretty well. I mean, there were certain drives where offensively we wanted to do better.
Yeah.
We missed a guy off the edge, and the headset fought me back and cut my hand. But we played really well, I thought, and just kept bouncing back. One of the things that I'll always appreciate about our kids is they line up and they just play the next play, and that's hard to do. They don't get lost in the emotion. They don't get lost in what the result was of the last play or what the score currently is. They just keep playing, and I commend our kids on that. That's amazing. Special teams-wise is always a little dicey when you're at a smaller school because you only have so many guys. So there are times that you look up on kickoff team, and you're like, all right, this is who we have, and you put them in. But those kids have risen to the occasion, and we pin the one on the one. And then there's another one that we kicked down there, and Chase Savant, it actually winds up breaking the plane, but just a really heady play by him to try to knock it back. Guys taking pride in those positions and working on that. And we see how important special teams are, because shoulda, woulda, coulda last year. If we don't get that extra point blocked, we're in a different situation last year. But that's how it happens.
Yep.
And as you prepare for Glenville, what are you seeing on tape from them? Obviously, they're going to be big, but you've seen huge teams throughout this season.
Yeah, I think the unique thing with Glenville is they're in a situation that we were in last year, where they return the majority of their guys. Offensively, they return a lot, and they're going to be massive, extremely talented. On defense, probably the best defense we've seen since we've been here, and maybe one of the best defenses I've ever seen as a coach. And that's because of a mix of talent and coaching. Last year we get into an unbalanced set, and we gash them for 9 yards, which is hilarious because if we gash anyone else, it's a touchdown. So we get 9 yards on it. We come back to it 2 plays later, and they're perfectly adjusted to it. They do a really, really good job defensively. So for us, it's just going to have to be being patient and trusting ourselves. And I was just talking to TJ about this, like I talked to our quarterback about, just our guys understanding that they can just cut loose and play. Just play football. There's so much that you can't control in the game. Just go out and play. And what I told Nate, the beauty of it is, if he throws an interception or something doesn't work, it's my fault anyway. It was a dumb call, right? I can find the 15 dads in the stands that'll tell you that. So it's, these guys can just play. And I think our guys do an amazing job of that. We had a coach from another school come to one of our practices last week, and he made the comment that it was a fine balance between loose and focused at our practice. I think Connor
way
could
to
probably
be.
speak to it. I just think that's how we operate, and that's what we do. So,
Well, I love it. I think it gives our kids a sense of calm that we can still go out and get what we need to get done on the practice field, but have some fun doing it in a relaxed, sort of laid back, and then they're ready to play Friday. So we'll see what Friday brings. The game again, 7 p.m. kickoff at Ravenna High School. Coach, thanks for being here. Best of luck on Friday, and we'll see where we go.
thank you guys.
Wait, one
Thank
more
you.
before you
Oh,
go.
man, one more.
When was the last time you ran an offense with 3 backs in the backfield? You bunched up jumbo formation a couple of times.
Yeah. It's funny. When I was first getting into coaching, I was like, when I become a head coach, we're going to be 5 wide, kick on side every time. And then I went to Marion Local, and I learned you're allowed to have 2 backs in the backfield. And then we said, why don't we try 3? And that is a cool thing here is we have some versatile pieces. We have some kids that you can move around into different spots. So when you have that ability, use them. And our kids are smarter than they get credit for because we do a lot on defense and we do a ton on offense, and they adapt really well to it. It's again, maybe I'm getting soft in my old age, but hats off to them again for being able to handle all that. So,
well, hats off to you guys, Coach, your coaching staff, you, the players, our parents, our families. We're all extremely proud of our accomplishments of this team. And again, 4th year in a row. I don't think that should be underscored at all. 4 years in a row in the Elite Eight. Quite an accomplishment, and good luck on Friday.
thank you guys.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Coach Gueswich, head football coach here at Perry High School.
Yeah, another exciting week to get back into it. Another trip down there. You're now 2 wins away from getting back to Canton, a place that you had success with just 3 seasons ago. So it's that part now where you're getting into that nitty-gritty. One mistake and the season could be over, or you advance and keep playing.
Yeah, and I like our chances. Our kids,
Yeah.
again, as he's mentioned, they're going to be pretty focused but laid back, and that's how you have to be. If you go into a game and we're nervous or we're you're just too stressed out about things, you're not going to play well ultimately. And I think we're going to leave it all on the line Friday night against Glenville, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully the football gods, a little bounce here, a little bounce there.
Yep.
You need that. We needed it when we won our state championship a couple years ago. You need to make some of those plays, and players make those plays, but then you need a couple of lucky bounces as well. So we'll see where we go Friday night. But now we are joined by our female athlete of the week, Adriana Polzer. Thanks for being here, Adriana.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And Mindy Allen is here. She is our assistant AD here at Perry Local Schools. So we wanted, soccer season is over, but Adriana's a basketball player too. So we've got our first winter event of the season coming up here on Saturday evening. So we're going to play football on Friday night, and then we're going to go transition right into the winter season here Saturday. We have a home game against Edgewood. So it's a 5 p.m. JV start, and the varsity will tip around 5:45 on Saturday. So Adriana sort of fits both parameters there. She's a fall athlete and a winter athlete, which we love. But Adriana, let's start with soccer. A back-to-back trip to the district final here for our girls soccer team. You are a huge part of that, both your junior and this year as a senior and a captain of this team. Let's just talk about your senior year and that season and what it meant to you.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I'm very proud of our team for getting that far again.
Yeah.
It was a different year this year compared to last year too. I feel like we're a lot younger. We lost a lot of seniors.
Yeah.
But we really came together and we made it as far as we did the year before, and I'm really proud of that.
It was awesome. I agree, 1,000%.
Was it difficult early in the season when you guys were kind of struggling, but a lot of that was due to injuries? We had Coach Dave on, and he talked a little bit about that as well, but kind of knowing that once we get healthy, we can kind of make a run. How were you able to keep everyone engaged into the season and not kind of just fold and give in?
Yeah, a lot of it is just like at our practices and stuff, keeping the energy there, I guess, like knowing that everybody will come back and we can just keep pushing forward and to keep playing our games and keep winning, and that's what happened. So,
And then what position did you play on the team?
I played defense, right back.
Right back. And then, so you've played all 4 years. You're a 4-year varsity letter winner for us in girls soccer, which is a rare thing. You don't see a lot of 4-year varsity letter winners in any sport. Where do you think you grew the most from being out there as a freshman to now All right, as a senior, now you're a captain. Where did your game evolve?
Well, at first I would say definitely freshman year was a big learning year for
Sure.
me. And then I think over my sophomore year and into my junior year, I grew a lot of confidence the more. But I would say like the biggest change was probably junior year.
Okay.
I think that's where I really started to feel more comfortable and just know, like, have confidence in what I'm doing and in the plays. And
And when did you start playing soccer, and have you always been a defender through maybe Pee Wee up or whenever you started?
yeah, I started playing when I was 3, and I've just been playing ever
That's
since. I've always played defense. Defense has been where I feel most confident.
And I think more of our girl athletes this year for soccer all have been more on the defensive side. We had Andorra and Granchai in as well, you know,
Yeah.
two of the forwards. But what was it like with Haley, Katie, that group that you have defensively, and that bond and that special relationship that you
Yeah.
guys have?
Well, so to start the season, Emma Bartlett was playing in the back with
Yeah.
us, and then she got injured. So Haley Reed came back and stepped up, and Katie in goal, and then Jocelyn Chorbo was back there too, and Sophie Siegel.
Yeah.
We learned to play together a lot this year and just really know how each other play. We always like high five each other at the beginning of every
Yeah.
start. So I just think that bond we have has just grown a lot this year.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I think we hit there was a game, I think it was the Hawking game, if I remember right, that was just sort of I don't know if you want to call it the light clicked on or whatever, but we gave up 3 goals in that first half, and then we shut Hawking out in the second half, played really well. And then for 5 out of the next 6 games, you guys pitched shutouts out there, and it really that turned our season around, and I think gave you guys the confidence to realize that, all right, hey, you know what, we can do this, and you should be commended for that as being a captain of that team and a senior leader. And now you transition to basketball, and you are our only senior on the baskall team, all right?
Yeah.
You should be commended for that as well,
Yes.
because it's one of those things. It's not easy to be a multi-sport athlete because you hopped right from soccer, and then the next week you're in basketball, and here we are with our first game only about 3 weeks later. So how excited are you about the basketball season? And again, maybe not excited about being the only senior, but being a senior leader again for this basketball program.
I'm really excited, actually. I didn't know what to expect being the only senior at first, so it was something that took a little getting used
Sure.
to. But we're a close team, and we all have good friendships with each other, so it's fun.
Awesome.
And what have you seen so far through practices, through scrimmages? Obviously, you guys graduated a lot, so it's a whole different team coming back this year. So what have you seen so far that you like? Where you guys need to improve? Take us through that.
Yeah, I think so far it's been really good. We have a strong work ethic, so our practices have been going really good. And same with our scrimmages. It's a good learning point. Like each time we have one, we always are picking up something different to work on. And then I would say, like, as a team, we're younger, so we're gonna just need to learn how to play with each other and just grow that bond over the season.
And I think there's some similarities between soccer and basketball if you really look at them closely, where you've got, soccer was the same thing. We graduated a lot of seniors. We had some young players out there, and you guys did a great job leading them and getting them where you need to be. So it may not all be, flowers and roses right at the beginning of the year, but as we get going and as we pick up, I think we have the ability to do some of the same things that we did last year in a girls basketball program, and sort of surprising the world with our win over West Branch in that district final matchup and so on. So I'm excited about the season. We kick it off again this Saturday, Friday football, Saturday girls basketball at home against Edgewood, 5 p.m. start. Come on out and support the team here as we kick off the year. Adriana, we also have Coach Allen here, as I mentioned.
Yes.
She is working with you in the PSL, and one of the reasons you were nominated, not only for your play on the field in soccer and on the court in basketball, but some of the work that you're doing with our PSL, our Perry Service Learning Program, and working with Coach Allen and some of our middle school athletes and students down at the middle school. Let's have Mindy talk a little bit about what you're doing down there first, and then we'll ask you for some of your comments as well.
Yeah, so Adriana, to start, like my first year coming in as the JV basketball coach, Adriana's my 4th year player, my only one that's been here with me since I came in. So I'm really excited. because Adriana each year has just grown more and more. So I'm super excited to see how she's going to step up this year. She's, one of the reasons I love that she's here, she is one of our rising stars, because it doesn't matter whether, like you said, she was a 4-year letter winner in soccer. She's that leader for basketball.
Yeah.
But she's also that leader off the field.
Yeah.
In the classroom, she excels. And this year in PSL, she's doing a lot of volunteering. And it's not even, the PSL students, they have to put in 2 hours a week. Well, Adriana's, the overachiever. It's not just the 2 hours. I requested extra help to get some extra help for our middle school athletes and tutoring first thing in the morning during their flex classes. Adriana is the one that stepped up to offer to help me. So 2 days a week. So our 7th and 8th graders don't get tired of just seeing my face all the time.
Right.
So now Adriana has the opportunity to come in and create bonds, and the 7th and 8th graders are going to probably listen to her a little bit more.
Yep.
Today she got to meet a few other students this morning that she hadn't met before, because I've got more kids circling in. And I tell them, I'm like, oh, yeah, you got math? Yeah, Adriana's your one. She's smart in math. She's good. Last year I subbed while she was in trigonometry. So, it's great to have that. And I think she's leaving tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
For Chicago.
Oh, right.
For
That's
the
a great
PSL
trip.
trip to
You'll
Chicago. So,
enjoy that.
Adriana's taking advantage of every opportunity to serve and give back, which I think really makes her a very well-rounded rising star from Perry.
Awesome. And Adriana, how do you like that age group? I know my wife's a middle school teacher. Minnie loves
Yes, I
that
do.
7th and 8th grade group, that middle school age. How do you like that age, working with those kids?
I like it. I've never
Yeah.
really been around. Well, my brothers are in middle school,
Right,
but
right.
outside
Yeah.
of that,
Sure.
I want to go and become a teacher after
Okay.
high school. So, I think it's a good experience too, just being around.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This different age group.
Do you have, and again, obviously this could change as you go, but any idea what grade level? Is it elementary, middle, high school? Where do you see yourself teaching potentially?
Probably elementary.
Okay.
My volunteer spot for PSL is at Maple Elementary School in Painesville, so
Okay.
I've worked a lot there.
Oh, that's awesome. How's that going?
It's going really good.
Yeah, good.
I love going there.
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
super fun.
And at what point did you realize, maybe that teaching or that direction? When did you think, what, that could be my potential career?
I think in the past year, because I did an internship with Mrs. Soder, and I went and shadowed occupational therapy, and I knew I wanted to work with kids and I wanted to help people. Both of my parents are teachers, but I don't think that alone has just a big influence on it. I really just sat and have just done a lot of thinking about it, and I get happy when I talk about wanting to be a teacher and helping kids learn. So,
Any college decisions yet? Obviously, we're only in November here of your senior year. You're still 5 or 6 months before you graduate. But any ideas on where to go to school?
it's between Walsh, Mount Union, and Ashland. So
Okay.
I've got it narrowed down, but
Okay, that's
we'll
good.
see where it goes.
You got to narrow down. That's the key.
Yeah, still plenty of time to make that decision. Take a couple more trips, see what's
Yeah.
see what else is out there.
All right, Adrian. I know we got to get you out of here. You've got another place to be. Probably to go work with some
Yeah.
people to help them out and volunteer some time. But just some get to know you questions here for our fans watching the pod. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food is mac and cheese pizza.
Ooh, where is that at? That sounds really
Hometown
good.
Slice.
Hometown Slice
They
has
have
it.
some
Okay.
good mac and cheese pizza.
All right, I'll check that out. What is your favorite subject in school?
Over the past 4 years, I'd say my favorite subject has come to be English.
Okay. Favorite movie, or if not a movie, a television show or series?
For movie, I have a lot, but I'm a kid at heart, so I
Okay.
would say Shrek.
Okay.
And then
Love it.
TV show, my mom and I watched the show Seventh Heaven, which is kind of an older show, but
Yep.
that would be my favorite.
I remember it. Any hobbies? You're obviously pretty busy. You're playing soccer. You're playing basketball. You're volunteering all these hours and all your time. Any hobbies outside of all that?
I like to play the piano a lot.
Ooh.
Nice.
I've not had that in
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
Great. That's awesome. All right, Mr. Winters needs some new apps on his phone. What is your favorite app or game on your phone?
Well, my brothers love Legos, and we have this game that we play called Lego Tower.
Yeah.
It's It's just this Lego tower that you manage. I don't know
Okay.
how else to explain it,
All right,
but
we'll
if
check
you
it
want
out.
something new, there you go.
Love it. Favorite memory from Perry. So again, we used to say this an athletic memory, but it can be any memory that you're going to have. Again, you're a senior. You're going to graduate here in 5 or 6 months. When you walk across that stage, what are some of your favorite memories of Perry going to be when you look back?
There's so many, but I would say like the most impactful one for me has just been my 8th grade year when I met all my best friends. So.
Awesome. Oh, that's very sweet. If you could visit any place in the world, money's not an object, where would Adriana go?
I think I would want to go and take a trip to Italy.
All right. Awesome. Adriana Polzer, we'll get you out here. Thanks for being
Thank
here.
you.
Congratulations
Thank you
on
so
a great
much.
soccer season and
Thank
best
you.
of luck in basketball on Saturday. And thanks for all that you do, Adriana.
Thank
Should
you.
get one of those.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You get, certainly have earned this, the Dairy Queen free meal deal and a Blizzard on top of it. DQ and Perry is our sponsor of our Athlete of the Week. Adriana is our Female Athlete of the Week. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Good call, Mindy. Good save there. Don't want to forget our certificates and thank the DQ for all that they do. We're going to move on to our Male Athlete of the Week. He's joining us now. Connor. Connor DeStolfo is here. He's in the house. He is a member of our football team. And Connor, we were ready to go. Great win last week. You were causing havoc out there defensively, getting things done on the offensive side of the ball as well. So how now that we've, you started your freshman year as Coach Gueswich's first year.
I
correct?
did not start my freshman year.
Okay.
I started my junior year.
But his first year as a
his
coach.
first year was
Yeah.
my freshman.
Was
Yes.
freshman year. So
Freshman
all
year,
4
freshman
years you've been in the program, we're in the Elite Eight. And being a senior, obviously freshman, assuming you didn't play a lot, we don't have a lot of freshmen that do. But as you've moved through the ranks, and now you're a senior, you're a leader of this team. What has it meant for us to be back in that same spot? When there's probably some people out there like, oh, it's going to be hard to replace 16 seniors or whatever it was from last year. How gratifying was last week's win to get us back into that regional final?
Yeah, it was huge. I think
Yeah.
so. Coming into this year, we had maybe 6 returning starters.
Yeah.
I mean, we lost a huge class.
Yeah.
And we didn't know how we were going to look, and we had a scrimmage early on. It didn't look so good. But we've gotten a lot better, and I think you can tell. Since that Chardon game, we've
Yeah.
not lost. I mean, O-line up front's gotten a lot better. Everything's gotten a lot better. I think the young guys have really stepped up. Especially that junior class. The defense, there's about 9 of the 11 starters are juniors, I think,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
So they've done an incredible job. And then our senior leaders, I mean, we just had a real good group of seniors this year leading us, and we're not done yet.
Right. We still play Friday at against Glenville at Ravenna High School. We'll send some streaming information. Obviously, we'd love our community to come out there on Friday night and make the drive down to Ravenna. We got a spirit bus going. So if you're a student here at Perry High School and you want to come to the game, our booster club is sponsoring that spirit bus. It gets you a free ticket to the game and a ride to and from the game. So you can't beat that deal. Let's pack. Let's get as many buses as we need to get down to Ravenna and root our team on. Kind of just like Adriana, asking her like, what are your positions on the team? Where do you thrive? What do you like playing the best?
So I'm a offensive lineman and defensive lineman.
Okay.
I didn't play much D-line last year, but I was one of the 2 returning starters on the offensive line this year, me and Antonius Bertone.
Yep.
So I started at guard this year for the first 6 games, I think, and then Coach G, it wasn't working, so he made a change. He put Brady at guard and me at tackle, just kind of flipped us.
Yeah.
And I think it's helped us both
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah, I think the tackle change has helped us a lot. I feel like I'm better on the outside, faster on the outside.
Yeah.
I think he's bigger than I am.
Sure.
And you like to have that on the inside.
Yeah.
So.
Was it difficult moving from guard to tackle? I mean, I'm sure there's other responsibilities, other assignments.
It was a change.
Yeah.
You definitely have to be larger in your kick sets, and just you're going against faster guys.
Sure.
You're going against
DNs,
quicker
right,
guys,
yeah.
right? Especially this week against Glenville. I mean, they're so fast up front. Like they roll up Sincere Johnson. I'm sure you know him.
Yeah.
Going to Ohio State.
Heard of him.
Yeah, sure you've heard of him. He'll roll up and he's quick. But I think we're ready. I think we're ready to go.
And as you're watching them, and knowing that you're the last guy, there's probably not a tight end or anyone on your other side. Do you kind of prepare differently? Do you look at different ways that maybe the stances of the defense to try to find any angle or any hint of what they might be doing?
I would say, like, if they're wider out, I'm trying to get more depth.
Okay.
Because if I'm too far out towards him, he's just going to beat me around.
Sure.
So getting that depth is huge, and Coach Bez talks about it all the time. He's been easily one of the most impactful coaches in my life. All 4 years I've been here in football, he's been a huge part of it. He's always had his full trust in me, always trying to get me better, and it's awesome having him around.
That's awesome.
Sorry, you kind of touched on it earlier with only returning 2 starters on the offensive line. How long does it take for a line to gel, a line to trust each other?
It took us a lot. Early on, we were rough. Not a lot of communication, not a lot of chemistry, and you could definitely tell, but it's been a lot better as it's gone on. We talked a lot more. Coach G's gotten with us, like, personally and said, what do we need to work on? What are we good at? And we're sticking to that. So definitely have came on throughout the year as a better offensive line.
And then switching over to the defensive side of the ball, you guys, came up against a team last week in West Branch, averaging almost 40 points a game, 39.5 points a game. Their quarterback had over 3,000 total yards, 25 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions on the year. Just some out-of-world stats, right? And we shut them out. It's 21-0. So offense does their job. We played complementary football, like we talked about with Coach Geswich, but we shut that team out. I said it was one of the best performances I've seen. I've seen a lot of Perry football as an old timer now, and like that was, if not the best defensive performance, one of the best. How did that happen? What did that come into? Mr. Winters mentioned, like, it seemed like the defensive line that you guys were getting pressure without having to blitz 8 people all the time, but and by the end of the game, their quarterback was, very gun shy of throwing the ball. How did that all come together? That performance.
Coach G touched on it, and Coach Zwicky is a huge part.
Yeah.
He is, I think, one of the best defensive minds in the state. He's an incredible defensive coordinator. I mean, at halftime, we were up 6-0.
Yeah.
And you'd think, no points given up. You got to be happy. And he's in there on the whiteboard scheming up new blitzes, and we're listening, and it works. We go right out. They don't score again.
Yeah.
So he's a huge part of it, and we've got full trust in him. If whatever he's going to tell us to do, we're going to do it, and it's going to work. I mean, it worked against West Branch. That's a huge part of it. And then you said the D-line.
Yeah.
We play very aggressive up front.
Yeah.
We got Mason Bilisic back a few weeks ago, and he's been a huge part at nose. 2.5 sacks in the last 2 weeks. He's been a big piece to have back. And then I think West Branch they love to throw.
Yeah.
So we kind of knew they were dropping back.
Yeah.
I mean, we were pinning our ears back, getting pass rush mode immediately.
And you guys, as whether it's offensive line or defensive line, like sometimes you're the unsung heroes, right? It's really hard. Like
love.
you know. Yeah. It's like, all right, you're doing the work behind the scenes, so to speak. So Nate can throw the ball and he has time to throw the ball, or Carter can run the ball for 10 yards. I mean, he's not doing it on his own. Same on the defensive side. You guys allow those linebackers. Sometimes you're taking the blocks, 2 blocks on a double team, so our linebacker can make the play. How does that? Is that satisfying? I mean, knowing that like you're sort of the gears that are running this machine.
Yeah, I mean, I love knowing, without us it couldn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But still got to give a ton of credit to our skilled guys. Like
Sure.
our linebackers have been phenomenal this year. Michael Nadzwicki, Carter Crowfoot, Carter Hopkins. They've all been phenomenal. But yeah, O-line, D-line, it's not the most fun position.
Yeah.
But it's one that you need.
Yeah.
It's one that if you don't have it, you're going to lose football games. So
Do you prefer the offensive side or defensive side?
I would say I'm better offensively, but I love playing defense because it's just so fun. I mean, especially how we play. We fly around. we get after it.
I love how we
defense.
fly around
Yeah.
on that, and we get to the ball. 11 hats on the ball was always a saying,
Yes.
and we fly around and we get there, and our defense deserves a ton of credit. We haven't given up. Our ones have not given up a touchdown since
Right.
West Geauga.
Yeah.
So even against Hawken and their high flying offense that they had, we only give up a field goal. And then 2 field goals to a very good NDCL team, and then a shutout again against West Branch. So I know for us to have success on Friday, it can't be a high-scoring game. Coach talked about Glenville's defense. I think you're going to see 2 really good defenses on the field on Friday night, and 2 really solid offense. It's going to be a good game, and I think the Pirates are going to give everything they have. So
And Coach mentioned what he's been preaching and what he sees on the film. What have you seen on the film when you watch Glenville?
They're giant.
Yeah,
They're giant.
bigger than
And-
last year.
Yeah, I would say.
Okay.
Maybe not a huge difference because they always just keep bringing
Sure.
guys. But he said it. They returned a ton of guys, and they're a really talented squad. But so are we, and
Yeah.
we're one of the hardest working teams in the state.
Yep.
And I mean, as we had just said, 11 hats to the ball. We fly around. It's preached every day by Coach Neds, and I mean Glenville. I don't want to say it, but they take some plays off.
Sure.
And you can see it. And that's nothing against them. They're they're wonderfully coached. They're a very talented squad, and we're gonna have to play some really good football to win on Friday. But effort is a huge part of it, and I think that's gonna help us.
Is there any revenge because of how last year ended, or is it just kind of, hey, this is a new season, new team for both of you guys?
we want revenge.
Okay.
But we know they want it too, so we're both coming. But yeah, revenge would definitely be sweet. Would definitely be awesome, especially for me too, coming back as a starter.
Sure, without a doubt, because you had a big role in that game last year as well. And when did you start playing football? How long have you been at this?
So
Connor?
I played in 2nd grade,
Okay.
and then I stopped up until about 6th grade.
Okay.
And I joined back. So
All
you
right,
could
well-
say about 7 years constantly now.
Okay. Well, we're glad that you came back, and obviously a big part and a big senior leader of this program, and also some behind-the-scenes things as well. So let's we'll talk about our PSL and your experience with Perry Service Learning and
Yep.
with Coach Allen and all that you do. Coach Allen, why don't you talk a little bit about Connor and his contributions
Yeah, so
to the
Connor,
program?
he's another one of our rising stars,
Yeah.
Taking care of it on the field, in athletics, being that leader, For those of you that don't know, I'm in the press box every Friday night, and I get to tally the stats.
Yeah.
So I not only get to watch the game and enjoy that energy and be excited, but then I rewatch the film over and over. And, those linemen, I love watching them when they hit a block, when they're the ones like Friday night, like you guys were talking, they were wreaking havoc in that backfield, and that quarterback they wore him down. They wore him down. So Connor's the leader of that group. And so you see that out there every Friday night when you come. And then when you don't see him out there, he's here at school and he's a leader in the building. And with the PSL program, again, they have their hours they got to get. But him and Jimmy Ashburn and Justin Costello, 3 football players, are my PSL volunteers that I chose this year after interviews. And I love it. They'll text me, Coach, what are we doing this week? And so it's been great. During football season, they showed up at football games, and they coached up boys on the sideline. They utilized their experience to mentor our middle school football boys to help us out as coaches on that sideline, so that the boys had someone else, that was closer to them that they might listen to a little bit better. Then they would go with the football team to volleyball games to cheer, to cross-country events, to soccer events. Now our basketball season's underway. Last night they got to show up at our first girls basketball game, and they're helping with that. They're coming into lunches and connecting with kids in lunches, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And, we're starting some new mentoring where we're going to help. My PSL volunteers are helping with organizational skills. So we're trying to, step up what we're doing with our middle school students and athletes and helping to prepare them with skills that will help them to succeed. Because, Connor and the guys, they remember what it was like to be in the middle school and then making that jump from middle school to high school. And so I appreciate them coming down the teachers appreciate them, and we've even had parents that came in for conferences a couple weeks ago make comments about the influence that these guys are having, that Connor's having on our middle schoolers, and just taking the time to walk down the hall, to go to a locker, to go through a binder, to sit, to go out on the playground, throw the football around. Like, they have no idea. They have no idea the impact they're making on our middle schoolers' lives. So it's invaluable.
That's awesome.
And Connor, for you, I mean, obviously being in the middle school, was there someone that maybe influenced you, or maybe you look back to and say, you know what, that guy made an impact on my life, and I want to kind of do that same thing?
Yeah, I know it's probably a lot of people give you this answer, maybe, but Mr. Bales, he's a huge guy at Perry. He's always been really close to me, and actually this past Friday we took a picture after the game.
Yeah.
And I was looking back at it this weekend, and it really is just awesome to see, like, someone who, when you were younger, you grew up with, and they grew up with you as part of their lives as well, and they mentored you, they made you who you are now, and to see them still supporting you as you're older, it's awesome.
Well, and I'm sure he's going to be there on
Oh,
Friday
he
night.
will.
He's
He
making
will.
the trip.
Don't worry.
Nem and Bale's
Yeah.
going to be there
He'll
on
be there.
Friday night and ready to go. Well, Connor, congratulations on
Yep.
a fantastic
Thank you, guys.
career, on a great senior year, for being an outstanding leader, not only for our football team, but obviously the work that you guys are making and doing down at the middle school to impact lives. And I would agree with Coach Allen, like, you have no idea. Those middle school kids look up to you guys, immensely, and so the work that you're doing is just incredible. Before we get you out of here, favorite, just to get to know you questions. Sorry, I'm a little ahead of myself. Favorite food?
I'm a big fan of tacos.
Tacos.
Yeah.
All right. Any particular place, or are you just like making them at home?
Usually just at home.
Okay, home
Yeah,
tacos.
I would say home tacos.
Favorite subject in school?
None. I'd say
Strength and
science.
fitness?
Science.
Okay.
I like science.
Okay,
It
there you
it
go.
interests me.
Okay. Favorite movie or television series?
Ooh, that's a tough one. King of Queens.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
Kevin.
Yeah,
Yep,
Kevin James.
Kevin James.
I really
Yeah.
love that one.
Classic.
My dad showed me that.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Hobby away, for obviously you're a very busy guy, but hobby
Mm-hmm.
outside of Perry, whether it's athletics or PSL or any of your schoolwork, what anything you like to do?
I know it's kind of similar, but
Yeah.
watching sports is a huge hobby
Yeah.
of mine. So I want to go into sports management as a
Okay.
career.
Awesome.
And so I want to be I want to do like sports analytics kind
Okay.
of and work at games. So
Sounds
I love
familiar.
watching.
Yeah,
I
right.
love-
Yeah.
We might have to use some PSL time to
Maybe.
bring him in and
Yeah.
have him help
Yeah,
with some of
there
our
you
behind
go.
the scenes work.
But
Love it.
I for sure, I think watching sports is a huge thing of mine. And I also just love hanging out with friends and family, spending time with people I love most.
Awesome.
Is it, like, how would you rate, like, football, basketball, baseball? What are your viewing of
So,
outside sports?
Also
I actually
baseball
love
player for
watching
us.
basketball, which would surprise you because I don't play it. But football is also, I love to watch football. Any sport, really. Yeah,
All right.
I love them.
Favorite app or game on your phone?
Favorite app? Jeez. I don't
I
know.
know.
Use them. I don't know. Maybe like Instagram.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the one I use the most.
That's common.
So-
Yep, that's common. Connor, again, as a senior, you're going to graduate here in 5 or 6 months. What are some of your favorite memories going to be when you ultimately graduate and you look back at your time here at Perry?
Just the memories I made along the way, and baseball and football, I think, would be a huge thing. Like, I mean, the friendships I've made, the teammates that I've connected with, and just building chemistry with guys that, you're going to cherish these moments forever. Especially winning state, it's something you're going to remember forever.
Sure.
So,
And if you could visit any place in the world, money's not an object, where is Connor going?
similar to what Adriana said,
Yeah.
Italy.
Italy.
My grandpa,
Good
my grandpa was
Italian food.
born in Italy,
Okay.
and I really want to go visit that.
Awesome. All right, Connor Diastafel, our male athlete of the week. Best of luck on Friday as we take on Glenville, and congratulations on
Thank
a
you,
great
guys.
year and career
Thank
so
you.
far.
Not done yet.
Oh, that's right. I love it. I love that attitude.
your
Thanks, Connor. Oh, your certificate?
Appreciate
DQ certificate. Don't have, it's the day before the day, so maybe
Save it.
Saturday. All right. Thank you,
Celebratory.
Connor. Best of luck Friday to Connor and all of our Pirates here as we take on the Glenville Tarblooders Friday night, 7 p.m. At Ravenna High School.
Yeah, and Perry, one of 4 teams locally that are still alive with Kirtland Menor and VASJ. So it's a nice little niche here, trying to continue to make that state run in four different divisions. But I think that's where we're getting to now. You're starting to see, as it comes down to the end, these final pushes for these teams, and I think Perry's in a very nice spot going in with this rematch against Glenville.
Yeah, and I think we've got nothing to lose.
Yep.
We, as we've talked about with Coach and with Connor and everybody that I talk, we know Glenville's talented. We know they have 4- and 5-star recruits on all over the field. But you know what? We're tough nosed. We fly to the ball. We do things that other teams don't do. And it's going to give us a puncher's chance on Friday night to stay in the game. Again, I would agree. Somebody said it at some point. I don't think it's going to be an overly high-scoring game, knowing these two defenses, and so it's going to come down to, can we make plays on 3rd down and 4th down? Those are the money downs in football. Can we produce inside the red zone and not come away empty-handed? And if the answer is yes, we're going to be okay, and we're going to have a chance to win this game.
And I think you mentioned, when you go in with nothing to lose, I mean, you're playing with the house money now, so
Yeah.
you don't have anything to worry about. You just go in and play, and Connor kind of mentioned it with the revenge game.
Yeah.
They were in the same spot last year. I'm sure 0 people gave them any chance
Sure.
of beating
Right.
Glenville. You take them into overtime,
Yeah.
and ultimately, you lose it at that point. But you were in a game, a low-scoring game, all that entire 4 quarters until the play in overtime.
Yeah, and this team, I give credit to these seniors for leading this team, and all of our players who didn't have a ton of experience maybe at the beginning of the year. And I'm sure there were several people out in our community that are like, oh, we might be 5-5, or we might be
Right,
this, or we
yes.
might be whatever. And it reminds me of the 2022 team that made it again to the regional final, and we ended up losing to South Range, but not many people gave that team a chance, and this was similar.
Yeah.
We replaced a ton of really good football players, but you know what the good news is? We replaced them with really good football
Yes.
players.
Right.
And these guys have grown, and it is week, this is our 13th game, so they are no longer sophomores playing week 1 or juniors playing in their first start. I mean, we are a seasoned veteran team now. And hey, again, I like our chances to be competitive and give Glenville a game here and get to the 4th quarter, see what happens. And that was sort of the model for success last year. Hopefully we can duplicate it again.
Yeah, and you kind of, Mindy mentioned it with Connor. Like, what is it like for you watching these kids grow from middle school
Oh, yeah.
to now in their senior years? I mean, senior nights are always hard nights, and
Yeah.
whenever the last game comes, it's always a hard night. But for you, watching these kids develop from when they were in middle school to
Yeah.
starting as seniors.
Yeah, so, when it was my own kids, it was one thing because those kids were always over at my house, or I was always feeding them and taking care of them. And then my kids were all gone, and now it's a new batch of kids. And so, like, last year, and even still, like, somebody shared a picture of some of these juniors and seniors on the sideline in 2016. Like, these kids grew up in our varsity locker room, on our sidelines, celebrating and cheering, and then having them come through the middle school where I've been helping and coaching all these years and watching, it makes me teary-eyed because they're even though they're not my kid, we watch them.
Yeah.
And you want them to have that success. So like last year, that Glenville game, you get the people like Walter who, oh my gosh, my Jacob was down, helping coach the little 6-year-olds when they were playing. That's Nate Trefsker's group, and now to see them and then, they lose and it breaks your heart. And I walked out of that locker room last year and I went and found Amy and I gave her a hug and I said, this is not how it was supposed to end, with tears, and so it is hard, but to watch them step out onto that field and you see them reach that potential that you knew they had, but I think that it's a testament, like you listen to Connor, and yeah, Glenville has great coaches, but the one thing I'll say, it's our 4th year going to the regional finals in 2 different divisions. And you reload. It says a lot about the coaching staff because what did he say? He said, we trust what Coach Ned Zwicky says. So when you have a coaching staff that is pouring everything into our boys and they believe, and he's talking about Coach Bezic. Coach Bezic's believed in me. He's made me better. Like, that is success. And, you know, I say it all the time. We have some of the best coaches in the state of Ohio right here. And I don't think our community fully understands unless you sit and talk to some of the kids and you know. But I think that gives us the advantage right there. And it's going to come down to who's going to make a mistake, who's going to be able to capitalize on that mistake, because I believe wholeheartedly that our shot this year is just as good, if not better, than last year.
Agreed, 1,000%. And we'll, you know, again, we know one thing: our kids are going to leave everything on the field, and they've trained extremely hard for this. All of our teams, you know, we had Coach Kissinger on. Was it last week?
Yep.
And we talked about the speed and strength program. It's given us such a leg up on in so many different sports across the board. And so the kids have put the time in, they've put the work in. So is Glenville, and that's why it's going to be a hell of a game on Friday night. And we'll see what happens, and hopefully we'll come out on top, and we'll be playing in the Final Four again.
Yes.
But again, hopefully come on out to Ravenna. I can tell you it doesn't look like rain until like after midnight, so it's going to be a beautiful night for football. It's going to be in a high of in the mid 50s during the day. It'll cool off, but it's going to be a perfect night to play a football game. So
and if you can't, come out for the send-off.
Yeah.
If you can't come to the game, come
That's a
out
good
to
point.
Center Road. And, you know, cheer them on. Yeah, you might be able to watch at home, but come to Center Road. Let
Center
the kids
Road,
know.
3:30. The team will be leaving, which is crazy because it's a 7 o'clock game, but it's a good hour and a half on a bus. So we're going to have a pregame meal afterward, right after school. It's a little film, and then get on the bus at 3:30. So we are having a little community send-off. We'll have the fire trucks and the police ready to go, and Perry's Best will take us out all the way to 90 there in Vrooman. So come on out at 3:30 as they depart, and yeah, like you said, Mindy, let them know. As we transition into middle school, we want to talk a little bit about that, as well as your role. One of your many roles here in the Perry Local Schools is our middle school athletic director as well. So again, similar to high school, but maybe even a little bit more pronounced. You know, wrapped up fall here about a month ago, and now we're transitioning into winter, and as you mentioned earlier, we've already had a couple of girls basketball games, and just update us as to what's going on down in the middle school level.
Yeah, so first, the wrap up of fall, we had great seasons across the board. And I don't know if I had talked about it before, but our girls soccer team finished another undefeated season and won the championship.
Right.
So they are actually getting their trophy tomorrow night. It wasn't ready that night, so tomorrow night is their end of season right after school, afternoon.
Yeah.
So they're going to be taking their pictures with their trophy and everything. So we're really excited. But one of the things last year, you know, I really wanted to try to focus on, because I do chase the kids down about their grades all year long. So I wanted to celebrate that too. Our kids, they have the success on the field, but they are student athletes. They're students first, and we try and preach that. So I definitely want to celebrate that. So I spend an entire day going through all of their finalized first period grades. And so our team GPA and success in academics are as follow. Our cheerleaders had a combined GPA of 4.1 and 9 honors classes and 1 high school class out of that group. Our cross country team, our boys, finished with a GPA of 3.58, having 2 honors classes, and our girls 3.89 with 8 honors classes. Soccer, boys finished with a 3.6 GPA, having 13 honors classes, 1 high school class. Our girls finished with a 4.0 GPA, so not only did they win that trophy, but they finished with a 4.0 GPA, having 24 honors classes and 1 high school class. Our volleyball team, 7th and 8th grade combined, finished with a 3.73 GPA and having 22 honors classes. Our 7th and 8th grade football finished with a 3.4 GPA, 28 honors classes, and 2 high school classes. We also had 4 athletes that competed in 2 sports this fall. 43 of our athletes finished the first term with at or above a 4.0 GPA.
Wow.
So, I mean, to me, that, that's good. And this year, like I would have liked to seen my football GPA a little bit higher. Last year was a little bit higher. But I will say this year we only had one student that ended the term ineligible. Last year we had a couple. So I'll take that win. And so, sometimes we have to realize, as coaches, especially as at middle school, because it is developmental, and like we talked about, those kids trying to learn how to go from, 5th and 6th grade, now coming into school sports and balancing that. I would say that our kids are doing a good job and our coaches are doing a good job at encouraging that balance.
Well, and we
So-
talk about being a student athlete. That's the epitome of it right there,
Right.
right? You take care of your stuff that you need to take care of in the classroom, and then you go and try to excel on the field of play. And I think overall, I mean, that's been our philosophy. I'm sure that's a lot of schools' philosophies, but I think we do a heck of a job
Yeah.
with it for
Yes.
sure. So.
And you mentioned winter sports have begun, basketball?
Yes, so our girls last week hit the road for their season opener at Kirtland. Both 7th and 8th grade teams came home with wins. We had our first home opener last night where we hosted Lakeside, and we came out with some big wins there. Our 7th grade, we have 11 girls. We have 2 that are on our IR right now.
Yep.
We're hoping one of them may make it back for the end of the season. One of them will be out the entire season. So this is another great thing. I keep talking about and promoting a lot with our middle school athletes is that, we can still contribute. We can still be part of that team even if we're not able to participate. So with that injury. We do have our 2 girls that are on IR. They learned how to do the book. So they are going to sit and, they're still coming to everything and they're doing the book, which is valuable. I think it's great. It helps them learn. They see a different side of the game and are understanding some things a little different, but they're contributing. So I greatly appreciate that a lot. Also, our 7th graders are having to contribute in another way this year because if you don't remember last year, our 7th grade team had 5 girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
They went undefeated, won the championship. Well, it's going to be a little rougher for those 5 girls this year.
Right.
So we do have 4 of the 5 back this year. So I will say, Riley McCarley, Andy Alberts, Corey Crowfoot, and Brooklyn Kissig are back. They are in a very vital role where they get to be the leaders of that middle school program, and they were able to get Chloe Marino to step in to be 5 8th graders. So due to illnesses, injuries, things like that, because it's 8th grade, we are pulling 2 7th graders up to sit the bench so that if we have somebody that needs to come out because they've got asthma,
Hurt,
because they're sick,
foul
right?
trouble.
If they foul out or they're, okay, they've got 3 fouls already in the second quarter and we need to give them a break. So now we have 2 girls, and the way we did it was based on tryouts. We matched up top with our fundamentals and with a bottom player so that we have a balanced spread of 2 girls sitting the 8th grade bench, and it's on a rotation that was set ahead of time so that it's not deliberately against certain teams.
Right.
And so our 8th grade coach will utilize those girls as needed. So they get to be a support, and then it also encourages our 8th grade girls to be those leaders, to be inclusive, because I told them when I ran their practice on our half day earlier this month, I said, listen, we are a middle school basketball program. However, because it's middle school, unfortunately, we do have a 7th grade team and 8th grade team. But as soon as you come up to me at the high school, we are all one team.
Right.
So just remember, we are all one team. All of our success is because of everything we do. So we want to make sure that we're building that chemistry now to keep those girls engaged.
Because they
So
will be
hopefully our
playing
numbers-
together.
They will be.
And I get it. I get the 7th and the 8th grade thing. But yeah, soon enough, we're going to all be running on the same
Right.
court together, practicing together, and playing
all
together.
wearing the same jersey. We're
without
all
a doubt.
Pirates.
Oh, that's a great message. Thanks for all the work that you do,
Oh,
Mindy.
thank you.
Thanks for being here with us today and with our athletes of the week as well. A little programming note before we move on. We will, with a short week next week, we will have our next episode the week of December 1st. So no pod next week for the holiday week, but the week of December 1, we'll be back for week 14. of the podcast. We'll have a couple of girls basketball games underneath our belt. We'll obviously update what happens down at Ravenna on Friday night, and hopefully we're talking about even some more success or some more football to be played. But until then, I hope everybody has a wonderful, safe, and a fun Thanksgiving with your families. Until week 14, the week of December 1st, go Pirates!